I made the jumbo pants in my last tutorial, and in this video I'll be showing you how to make the top. If this is something you'd like to know more about, please keep on watching and let's get started. I have 2 yards of fabric here. I didn't finish the whole 2 yards, so just get yourself 2 yards of fabric and you're good to go. You do not need a zip for this top. I have folded my fabric into 2, and the first thing I'm doing is to mark a line across the fabric, and this line will serve as the shoulder line. From the shoulder line, I'll go ahead and mark the chest line. I am marking 9 inches for the chest line, and I'll connect that into a straight line. After marking the chest line, I'll go ahead and mark the full length of the top. For the length of the top, I marked 21 inches here, but I later reduced it to 19 inches because I wanted it to crop and I didn't add an elastic. So if you want to add an elastic to this top, like the video you saw in the intro, you can leave it at 21 inches. After marking the length of the top, go ahead and add 1 inch allowance at the bottom. The next thing is to mark the shoulder measurements divided by 2 plus 0.5 inch. I have marked that on the shoulder line and also on the chest line. Come down by 1 inch for the shoulder slope, and for the neck width I marked 3.5 inches. I'll connect with a straight line to the neck width and also to the chest line. The next step is to mark the bust measurements divided by 4 and add 1 inch allowance. So we're adding 1 inch allowance to this top. At the waistline, you can decide to put the same thing you have on the chest line at the waistline, or you can reduce it by 1 inch. But for this one, I reduced it by 1 inch, and that is what I put at the waistline. Now to form the armhole, get the midpoint from the shoulder slope to the chest line, and at the midpoint go in by 0.5, and you're going to connect it with your armhole curve. I'll be marking both the front and the back on this fabric. So first we are going to mark the back neckline. I came down by 2 inches, and this will serve as the back neckline. For the front, I'll come down to 3 inches for the front neckline. So mark your 3 inches for the front neckline and connect it with your curve. From that 3 inches point, I'll go in by 0.75. From that point, go in by 0.75 and come down to 1.5 inches. I am going to connect like you see me doing. That is all on the cutting of this top. I'll start cutting out first with the back neckline. Add ½ inch along the shoulder as you cut, and also along the armhole add ½ inch allowance. We already added 1 inch allowance to the side, so there's no need to add any further allowance. Fold your fabric into 2 again and place the one you cut out on it. You're going to cut out exactly the same thing you have. Now we can separate the fabric. One will serve as the back, the new one we cut out will serve as the back, and this one we are going to trim out the front neckline. Trim out the front neckline, and along the armhole we are going to cut out a bit from it. Remember, the front and the back armhole is not usually the same thing. Trim out about 0.25 away from the armhole, and that will be all for the front part. This is what we have for the front part, and now the next step is to cut out a facing. We are making use of facing for the top, we are not making use of lining. So now fold another piece of fabric into two. We are going to place the front part on it like you see me doing. The folded part against the folded part of the front. Now cut out exactly what you have on the neckline and along the shoulder. At the shoulder there, I measured 4 inches, and that is what I used for the facing. For the length, I used 6 inches. So just cut it out like you see me doing. We are going to use the same method to cut out the facing for the back. So once we are done with cutting this one, we are going to place it on the front part, right side facing each other. Open up the front now and place the facing on it, right side facing each other, and go ahead and stitch along the neckline. You are going to stitch along the neckline following the V shape in front. If you want, you can add interfacing to the facing. It is totally optional, but you can add. I added interfacing to mine off camera. I have cut out the facing for the back, and this is what we have. The same method, you are going to place it on the back piece, right side facing each other, and go ahead and stitch along the neckline. Like I said earlier, you can also add interfacing to the back facing. It is totally optional, but you can add it. I am done stitching here, and this is what we have for the back. Once you are done stitching around the neckline, make a top stitch on the facing and go ahead and press it. Do the same thing for the back piece also. After stitching around the neckline, make a top stitch on the facing and press it properly. I have pressed mine here, and you can see what I have. The next step is to go ahead and join the sides together and also join the shoulders together. I'll be using just ½ inch to join the side. Remember when we were drafting, I added 1 inch allowance, but because this is a top without a dart, I don't want it too fitted, I want ease on the top, so I'll only join with ½ inch. Along the shoulder, go ahead and join it with ½ inch also. You are going to repeat the same thing on the other side. Once we are done joining the shoulder and the sides, the next step is to cut the sleeves. I have folded my fabric into two, and after folding into two, I'll fold it again. That means I folded it into 4, which implies that I'll cut the 2 sleeves together. Now the first thing I'm doing here is to mark a line across the fabric, and this line will serve as the starting line. From that point, I'll go ahead and mark the length of the sleeve. The length I want for this sleeve is 17 inches, but I added 1 inch allowance for hemming. So go ahead and add your allowance for hemming and connect into a straight line. The next step is to mark the cap height. The formula for getting the cap height is your bust divided by 12 plus 1 inch. So go ahead and do that calculation and mark your cap height. I have marked mine here and I'll connect it into a straight line. After marking the cap height, go ahead and mark your cap width. You are going to mark your cap width on the cap height line. So the formula for getting your cap width is your bust divided by 6 plus 1.5. Go ahead and mark that, and from that point where you marked your cap width, you are going to connect with a straight line to the top line you have there. Once you are done connecting that into a straight line, get the midpoint, and at the midpoint you are going to go up by 0.5 and come down by 0.5. The going up by 0.5 is for the back armhole, while the coming down by 0.5 is for the front armhole. You are going to connect each of the lines with your curve. You can take note of the way I am placing the curved ruler so that you can get a nice curve along the armhole. After connecting the one for the back, you are going to do the same thing for the front. Now that we are done connecting, you are going to measure what you have along the armhole of the sleeve to be sure that it's exactly what you have on the armhole of the top. If it is the same thing, you can now go ahead and add your allowance. I have added my allowance here, and the next thing I'm going to do is to put the same measurement I have at the top at the bottom there and add about 2 inches to it. You can add 2 inches to it because the sleeve on the thumbnail is not a fitted sleeve. After marking that, connect the dots together with a straight line, and then you are going to go up by 1 inch from the hem there. Go up by 1 inch and connect it back into the hem of the sleeve. And that will be all for the cutting of the sleeve. Now you are going to cut using the back armhole first. After cutting, you can now open it up and trim out the front armhole. So cut it out like you see me doing, and then you are going to make a notch on this part to tell you that this is the part that will be at the front. Now go ahead and fold the hem of the sleeve. After folding, you're going to join the sides together. My sleeve is ready to be fixed to the top at this point. I'll just go over to the sewing machine and fix it, and that will be all on the cutting and sewing of this top. If you want to add an elastic to the bottom of this top, you can cut out your waist measurements minus 3 or 4 inches as the length of the elastic and fix it at the bottom of the top. It is as simple as that. Thank you guys for watching. If you found this video helpful, please hit the like button, leave a comment, share this video with your friends, and subscribe to my channel. Turn on your notification bell, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.